We're the girls from Deep Throat Energy Drink.
And So Crazy After All These Beers starts now.
Hey everyone, Gary Monterosso here. Welcome to this episode of Still Crazy After All These Beers. I am in the Tun Tavern Brewery and Restaurant. Now I got to tell you something, this is a brew pub. A brew pub is a place where you can buy your beer, have your beer here, maybe take a sample home with you through a growler, but you can also get a meal because there's a restaurant attached. And you know, when brew pubs opened up back in the late 70s, brew pub food consisted of basically hamburgers, french fries, chips, hot dogs, stuff like that. That's not the case anymore. We're seeing some top-notch cuisine, and I have Executive Chef Rocky Pellerito from the Tun Tavern. How you doing, Rock?
Good. How are you?
Now, of course, I always got to lose the line. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? You're probably sick of that, aren't you?
Yeah, I've heard it a couple times.
But you're the executive chef. What's it like being the executive chef in a brew pub?
It's great. It's great. We have a pretty much carte blanche. I come in every day, and I can almost do whatever I want because of the theme of the restaurant being like American-style brew pub. I'm not limited to any nationality or ethnicity or even any type of local fare. I can serve pretty much whatever I want. We're open lunch and dinner, so that gives me another variety of not just serving lunch-style food. I get dinner, desserts, everything. It's great. It's great. I have a lot of freedom to do what I want with the food and to do, whatever kind of theme Tim is going with the beer and the brewery. We can adapt that to the food in the kitchen.
And that's really the key. And of course, you mentioned Tim Kelly. Tim's a brewer here at the Tun Tavern, and that is the one defining theme. The bottom line is beer is made here, and so consequently, a lot of people are going to want to match the beer with what you're creating. So do you say you and Tim get together every so often, discuss
at least weekly, and are working on something, some kind of pairing. If it's not for our day-to-day menu, it'll be we usually do a quarterly brewmaster dinner, where him and I will sit down and actually come up with an entire menu as well as a special beer just for that occasion. And we usually do like six courses, and we'll pair each course and come up with different ideas and different flavor comparisons and things that'll contrast the food or complement the food. And it's a good time. We sit down, we go over, basically create a whole menu based on what kind of beers he has and what he's brewing, especially for that occasion. And then I'll do, like I said, pretty much whatever we want for the entrees and the appetizers and everything. And it's a good time.
And you brought up a good point because obviously the time of the year has something to do with the food you're going to make and also the beers that he's going to present. But I heard you mention that you can do one of two things. You can either have competing flavors or contrasting flavors, and do they both work? It's a matter of trying them and see what actually works for you.
That's the fun part, is trying them. And
research is always a good thing, especially when we're in beer and food, right?
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, if you have everybody always likes to just say, everybody thinks, even with wines, like Cabernet goes with steak, or some people might think that a stout would go with a steak, like a rich malty beer would be better with a rich flavored steak, which isn't, I'm not saying that that's wrong. A stout goes great with any steak, but I like to go with like a pale ale or an IPA with the steak to almost cut that fattiness, the oil from the steak and the richness, to almost clean the palate and to make every bite of that steak taste like the first one.
Well, I love that. I mean, you're obviously expressing to me the fact that you know a lot about beer and you know how to match beer with your food, and I think that's really a cool thing. And that's what's happening now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many restaurants.
A lot of help from Tim, though. I mean, he taught me a lot about, like I said, flavor profiling and pairing, and maybe this isn't the best option. Maybe there's something better for this dish, or we could incorporating the beer into the recipes and doing those types of things where we actually cook with the beer. We've done. We did the brown ale, clams, and mussels. I mean, there's just so many. The sky's the limit with what you can do with cooking with the beer. It's not just pairing and everything like that. But he has a big part in helping me do what I do back here. So.
That's really great. I'll tell you, I really got to applaud you on that. It's not an easy task in a lot of ways. I mean, because I know meals in my past that I just didn't match up the beverage exactly, and it kind of affects the entire dining experience. But you guys have really put things together nicely.
Yeah, we try to. We have recommendations on our placemat, like our recommendations for what beer with what type of food. And then like I said, when he does a seasonal beer or a special beer, I try to do like some specials behind the line in the kitchen. I'll do some kind of a special entree or a special salad or appetizer and pair it with the beer that he has brewed specially, like the Hefeweizen that we have right now. I would say that goes perfect with all of our salad specials that we've been doing for a week and a half. We've been doing different salad specials. Like today we have one with swordfish. The other day we did one with a flat iron steak. And I would just say the Hefeweizen goes great with that. It's a smooth, easily drinkable beer. It just complements it perfectly.
I've always found that dishes like soup, of course it depends on the soup, but certain soups and even salads, again, depending on the dressing used, they can be very difficult to match.
Absolutely, yeah. It's hard to match, and in that case, I would say just go with your favorite beer. If you're not going to try to match it, if you can't think of something that goes with that, then just drink your favorite beer.
Now, you've been executive chef here for a couple of years here at the Tun Tavern, and prior to that, you were executive sous chef?
For a year, and before that, I was at Harris in Atlantic City. Okay. And I opened the Italian restaurant at Harris.
Okay, I've dined there. Yeah, exactly. Very good. So you've got quite a background in culinary, obviously, and especially here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, I've been working in Atlantic City for about 8 or 9 years now.
Is it a tough crowd to please? Not just the Atlantic City crowd, but working in a brew pub. Is it any more difficult, or is it easier than working in a non-traditional restaurant, or a more traditional restaurant, I should say?
I think it's easier. I think it's easier because I think people that are coming into a brew pub are coming out to have a good time. They're coming out to enjoy themselves, and a lot of time you have people that are really into the beer. And just the fact that we have a microbrewery on the premises just blows them away. I think that people just enjoy this place when they walk in, from the time they come in to the time they leave, just because of the atmosphere. It's a fun, relaxed atmosphere. It's not stuffy. It's more relaxed. I think people just have a great time here. We try to serve the best beer, and I think the best food. But I think it's easier. I think it's easier because we have so many different varieties of things that we can do, and we're not limited to anything. That we can do, anything we want as far as food. I mean, whatever's seasonal, whatever's fresh, and just stay on top of trends and do specials every day. And I think people are easier to please in a brew pub because I think they just come in. It's a different kind of crowd.
And brew pubs aren't just for adults anymore. You see a lot of kids coming in brew pubs all around the country.
We have a children's menu, and we do a lot of our conventions or youth-based conventions, dancing competitions and gymnastics and things of that nature. And we do a lot of business from kids, and it's good. Good to get as many people as you can into the place.
Rocky Pellerito, Executive Chef at the Tun Tavern in Atlantic City. Thanks for joining us today. And that's it from Atlantic City, from the Tun Tavern. We will see you next time on Still Crazy After All These Beers.